During this time of national crisis, many Americans are turning to a story of a different crisis, World War II. This is the story of a single man, a single photographer, who told the greatest untold epic story of American history. The story of the Manhattan Project in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Most Americans have never heard of Ed Westcott. He is the most important photographer of 20th century American history. He was hired to photograph the top-secret Manhattan Project in Oak Ridge, Tennessee from 1943 to 1945. There were dozens of rules and prohibitions. One of them, cameras were banned. As the new town went from raw farmland to a bustling community of 75,000 residents, Ed was the only one with a camera. When he started, there wasn't much to photograph. Roads and rail lines were the first order of business. Guard towers looked over fields of mud. He had lots of construction to document. Those photos, devoid of any humans or humanity, were technically precise and beautiful in structure. Even his prints of industrial machines were impeccable. Some prints, it seems you could count the leaves on the trees. He must have taken some bad photos, but it appears he never printed a bad one. As his ID says, Ed went everywhere and saw everything. Ed's true power with a camera was to capture the human condition in all of its forms. In Oak Ridge, the average age was 27. Most were single. There were 10 women for every one guy. These folks worked hard, but they played even harder. Mix together youth, secrecy, war, and hormones, and you have a fascinating human experiment unlike anywhere else during World War II. Life was spilling over everywhere. Ed witnessed all of it and made photographs of most of it. The rec halls were full all the time, mostly by teenagers looking for love in all the wrong places. Usually, there was one adult around to keep the shenanigans at bay. Waiting in line at the post office at Christmas time was relatable to all who saw the photo. Probably unbeknownst to Ed, but some of these painters taking a break were veterans of World War I. Nothing was uninteresting to Ed. A shift change at the phone company added a tiny snippet of life in the secret city. The simple act of rolling a cigarette offers a tiny glimpse into life during World War II. These are some of the famous Calutron girls who were lovingly portrayed in the book Girls of Atomic City. Bridge clubs were huge in the secret city. You could find a game going on just about any time. Shortages and waiting in line were a fact of life in the country, and in Oak Ridge too during World War II. Hanging out on the wooden raft at the swimming pool was one of those languid, hot days of summer moments. A coal worker eating a sandwich was transformed from the mundane into a transcendent, iconic, beautiful moment. Getting high school students to ham it up for the camera wasn't hard at all. Going to great lengths to turn a trailer into a mansion was commonplace. Tending a victory garden could offer an intimate moment. There was a war going on. This worker in a control room at K-25 symbolizes the scale of the war effort, being part of something much larger than yourself. In many ways, it looks like a clip from Dr. Strangelove. There were reminders of the war everywhere. The loss of American life during World War II would equal a 9/11 attack every 5 days for 3.5 years. This photo is loaded with emotion. There are the unfinished sheetrock walls, an urgency to get this done. Finished walls were a luxury which time would not allow. There's the stuffed elephant toy on the bed, a source of comfort maybe. There is the photo under the lamp of a young aviator. Is it her father, her brother, or perhaps a boyfriend? We will never know. The woman's face reveals all. Her smile is high wattage, but her eyes are dead. She's putting on a brave face for the camera, but she is really scared. A playhouse was created, which is still in operation today. It offered a creative outlet for actors and actresses, and entertainment for the residents. Ed is testing a new flash for his camera. His natural exuberance got the best of him. A boy with bangs and dreamy eyes ignores his lunch. The girl with the white cap has forgotten all about her sandwich. Of course, Ed would sometimes notice a gorgeous woman at a control panel. He had to take the shot, just part of doing his job. When the end of war came, you could tell just by looking at the faces of the workers. These were not fake brave faces, but rather faces of total unbridled joy and relief too. Relief that American soldiers could now safely return home. When Japan surrendered, there was much celebrating late into the night. As always, Ed captured all of it. With his famous photo at Jackson Square, Ed must have wondered what the future held for him. He was hired to document the Manhattan Project in Oak Ridge during the war. Now, the war was over. Over 30 months, he had taken 15,000 to 20,000 photographs. With that last photograph, Ed completed the most important work of his professional life. On that night, Ed finished the most important photographic archive of American history. On that night, Ed was 23 years old. In 2015, Oak Ridge did a reenactment of the 1945 photo at Jackson Square. Ed was in the front row. In 2017, Ed was nominated for the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The last photographer to receive the award was Ansel Adams in 1980. Ed passed on in 2019, but he can still be given the award. If you want to do your part, email or write the president and urge him to give Ed's family the award. The president makes this decision solely at his own discretion. He can give it to anyone he wishes at any time he wants. A couple of thousand letters might turn the trick. The award would mean the world to Oak Ridge. It will be a great source of pride for the state of Tennessee. And once they understand Ed's story, pride for the nation too. It would mean the most, of course, to Ed's 5 children to know their father's work was finally celebrated by a grateful nation.